I said it last time, I'ma say it again. This Week in MLS on Instagram is a must follow. Okay, look, I'm not just a fan of this league. I am obsessed with this league. But sometimes I miss things. Sometimes I miss stories or rumors or injury reports. Well, this guy doesn't. He is always on it. Your source for everything MLS, This Week in MLS on Instagram. Also, make sure you check out Eli on the LAFC-based YouTube channel, 110 Football. All right, now with all that being said, let's get it. Oh, one more thing. I tried to improve the clarity of my webcam by changing it from widescreen, and yeah, now it kind of looks like crap. Sorry about that. Recording. Eli, good to see you again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It is great to be here. Great to be back with you, and what a lot to talk about and a lot that's going to happen in the future. I'm so glad MLS is back, and this has been one hell of a ride so far, and I know it's just going to get better with these knockout games.
Before we hop into all these round of 16 matches, let's just kind of go over our hits and misses of our group stage prediction. I'll start first, I guess. My biggest miss, sorry, Portland fans. I don't know what I was thinking picking the Galaxy over you guys. I picked Portland to finish last. I said something along the lines of, I don't know if they have enough firepower up top. I don't know if I trust Jeremy Obobasi. Yeah, he made me look pretty dumb. Scoring a goal tonight. Does he have 3 goals in the group stage?
Yeah, I think he scored once every game.
Yeah, so he's doing all right. Their new signing, Niezgoda, he got it. Yeah. He got on the score sheet tonight. So I was not very impressed with Portland the first 2 games of the season, and that's kind of what swayed me to pick them to finish last. But I'm impressed with them now. They looked really good. My biggest hit, though, and I'm proud of this, I predicted Orlando to finish second, and I nailed that one. Oscar Pereira, he has transformed this team, and I'm a believer in Orlando now, even after this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one fan base or team that I've crapped on in the past, it has been Orlando. Like you with Cincinnati, that's been me with Orlando. And they proved me wrong, and I had to post a formal apology on my Instagram page. Apologizing to the amount of crap I gave those fans. So they were definitely one of my biggest misses. What are their hits? Or misses. I got a few misses. I really thought San Jose wasn't going to do that well. That's my fault. But my biggest hit, and I am so proud of this one, I nailed Group C. I got every single seeding, and I even guessed Montreal as a wild card. So I'm very proud of that one.
Every team's got a chance now that's in this round of 16. So why don't you say we go ahead and hop right into it? I would have thought this would be a quarterfinal, maybe a semifinal matchup, but it's a round of 16 game. Philadelphia Union and New England Revolution. What do you think?
You know, I really want to say the Revs, but the recent stuff with Carlos Heel being injured, and we're not quite sure if he's playing at all, I think I got to go with Philly. I think a lot of people tend to underrate them, including myself, and I think it's time to give them a little bit of praise. I'm going to go with Philly in this one. So I really want to see Gustavo Bo just kill it like he has been, and the Revs to get through. I am going to pick Philly here.
Yeah, no, Philly, I mean, I don't know if anyone counts them as like one of the elite teams, but they're getting close. Like, remember right before the suspension, they went to LAFC and tied them 3-3, and then they, finished second place in this group. They're really good. New England Revolution, they were actually, before any of the group games were played, they were my pick to win it all. And that first game against Montreal, they looked really good. I was kind of internally patting myself on the back, like, okay, I made a pretty good pick here. They missed a couple, golden opportunities. I thought that game could have been 3 or 4-0. But after that first game, they kind of took their foot off the pedal against DC, and they had a scoreless tie against Toronto. I'm not as high on them as I was before the game started. So I think this is a really good matchup. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, but I'm going to stick with New England Revolution on this one. I know I was just talking up Philly so much. I think both these teams are really good for the Eastern Conference, but I'm still giving the edge to the Revolution on this one. Okay, so now we've got Sporting Kansas City, and maybe the surprise team of the tournament, Vancouver Whitecaps. I mean, I didn't think Vancouver would score a goal this tournament. They released a travel roster. They didn't have any forwards on it. They didn't have Montero going. Cavallini didn't go. I thought they were just going to get skunked all 3 games, and then they knock out my Chicago Fire today. So, I mean, maybe I got to start giving them more respect, but what do you think? SKC and Vancouver.
It's so crazy to me how Vancouver, yes, they did beat the Chicago Fire, but they blew a 3-1 lead to San Jose, and they did get murked by Seattle. It's just crazy to me how that team is in the knockout round. And I really don't think they stand a chance. Yeah, I feel bad for saying this, but I don't think they stand a chance against Sporting Kansas City. This is one of the teams that I thought would go potentially all the way to the end. So I'm going to stick with my guns here. They've kind of grown into it. They looked very impressive in my opinion against RSL. Polito's looking great. I'm gonna go with SKC here.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, Vancouver, it's a great story. You guys got the win over Chicago. I don't care how badly they were outshot. They deserve to be here. They made it through, but SKC looked really good. Even in their first game, I know they blew it at the end with the Melia red card and then the 2 late goals, and they lost to Minnesota, but they looked really good. You already said Polito. Kenda, he's a guy that I didn't really know much about before this tournament, but I'm really been impressed with him. I've been impressed with Shelton, too. He really impressed me up top, and he looks like he's, finding his own with SKC. It took him a couple of years because he didn't do that much with NYCFC, and I felt like he didn't do that much with SKC. But he's looked great this tournament. He's been one of the breakout players, in my opinion. I know he had that own goal in that first game, but that happens. So,
but Kyrie Shelton, great, and
I'm going SKC on that one. So, San Jose RSL. You picked RSL to finish last in the group. You said San Jose was also one of your misses, so this has got to be a kind of a surprising matchup for you.
Yeah. And honestly, the team that has impressed me the most has been San Jose, so I think I have to give them the edge. Also, I've given them a lot of hate in the past, like a lot of hate.
You gave RSL kind of a lot of hate too, though.
I know I did, and I feel bad for not even acknowledging RSL in that last sentence that I said. But my history with the San Jose Earthquakes goes way back. I mean, you guys know I'm from LA, so there's a little bit of that bias against Northern California here. But I just have to give it to Almeida. What really impressed me was in that comeback against the Vancouver Whitecaps, Almeida subbed on 4 guys at once, and all 4 of those guys made that impact to win them the match. Yeah. And that's when I finally realized, okay, I'm going to stop hating on these guys. I mean, I might dislike them a little bit, but Almeida knows what he's doing. And this team does have talent. I have to go with them here. No offense, RSL.
Yeah, I mean, so that game, what was it, 4-3, I think? Just really high scoring. 0-0 tie with Seattle. I know that game kind of got a little ugly there at the end. Wasn't the best soccer to watch. But they also shut out the Chicago Fire. And if you think about those 2 goals that they gave up against Vancouver, not Vancouver, against no, it was Vancouver. I'm getting my groups mixed up. But the 2 goals that they gave up against Vancouver, one of them was a freak own goal, and another one was just a terrible play by the keeper. So their defense is holding tight. I mean, I know they gave up 3 goals that one game, but if you think about it, if you get rid of those 2 bad goals, it's really, 1 goal? 1 real legitimate goal? So, San Jose, I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. RSL, though. I think they looked really good their first game against Colorado, a rivalry game. a little underwhelming against Minnesota, and obviously they didn't beat SKC. But I think overall the roster, I think they're still better than San Jose. With Almeida's man-to-man system, which I got to be honest, I thought was going to completely implode and just not work out at all.
Amen.
It's done all right so far. I'm giving the edge to RSL. But this is a really interesting matchup. It's not the highest profile matchup. I mean, like, more people are going to probably be talking about LAFC and Seattle, but this is a really, really interesting one. I think a lot of people have been sleeping on San Jose, like you said. I'm going to pick RSL on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if San Jose pulls this off.
All right. I think the next one's Columbus, Minnesota.
Yep. Our first interconference matchup. Columbus. Yeah. A lot of people are picking them as the favorite now. They've had probably the most complete group stage. I mean, they just shellacked FC Cincinnati, and they were clearly the better team against both Atlanta and Red Bull New York. Minnesota, they had that great comeback in that first game against SKC. And yes, the Tim Melia red card definitely helped them out. They played Colorado tough. I know they gave up that goal in the second half so it ended 2-2 and 2-2 tie. And then their last game, it was scoreless, I believe, against RSL. No. Yeah, it's scoreless against RSL.
Yeah.
I'm going with Columbus, and I'm assuming you are too. I saw the.
They're my team of the tournament so far.
Yeah, they've been really good. Giassi Zardes, I know a lot of people want to rag on him, but he's doing it and he's putting in the work. He's scoring the goals. Zelarayan is, I mean, he's not so good. He's not just that one freak goal kick or free kick goal. I mean, he's been all over the field. He's been great. Nagby has made a huge difference on this team. I don't even think they're dark horse or sleeper. I mean, I think they've got to be considered maybe the favorites to win this tournament. So yeah, I've got Columbus.
Yeah, 100% agree with everything you just said. Don't need to add anything to that.
Yeah. So moving over to the other side of the bracket, Orlando City, the team that I picked, and I'm sticking with them against Montreal. I know Montreal made it to the last 16. They got the win over DC when they needed to get the win, but I haven't been super impressed with them. That first game against New England, they were completely outplayed off the field. It was only 1-0, but it really should have been more. And against DC, yeah, they got the win, but it wasn't like an overwhelming performance. I got Orlando. I think they're the real deal. I mean, Chris Mueller, I think he has 4 goals in 5 games this year. He's really stepped it up this year. And, something has to be said with the home field advantage. You've seen a lot of teams really struggle with the heat, not used to the humidity. Orlando lives here, so they're used to it a little bit more than other teams. So, yeah, I've got Orlando over Montreal.
Yeah, I really downplayed that factor when doing my predictions. I was like, oh, well, there's no crowd, so home field doesn't even matter. That was kind of the mindset I was on, and I guess I was really wrong about that. I mean, I was just completely wrong about Orlando in general, and I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt here because I do think they are the better team than the Montreal Impact. Like you said, Montreal did not impress me at all. Nothing about that team screamed, we're a contender here in this tournament, and we're ready to fight for the title. Nothing was there. Thierry Henry's got a lot of work to do with the players. Victor Wanyama's been an interesting addition. I mean, there's been moments where he's been really great. There's been moments where I'm like, okay. But yeah, I got to go with Orlando here. Chris Mueller, by the way, got to praise the super draftees. I'm the biggest advocate for the super draft. I've seen your video. So
I saw that comment. I saw that comment.
But I will defend my super draft picks till I die. And Chris Mueller proven me that there's still talent there, which is great.
All right. Here it is. Biggest matchup, probably Seattle Sounders, LAFC. What do you think?
LAFC have looked great without Vela on the offensive end. I mean, they been able to score plenty of goals, but defensively they've not looked great. But I wouldn't blame their back line. I think it's a team effort on defense that's been lacking. They're so focused on their possession style that they don't really track back when they lose the ball. And I think that's why they've given up so many goals.
And Bob Bradley pointed that out
Seattle.
too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He did mention that in a post game, and I 100% agree with that. And then you got Seattle Sounders. They came to the tournament. They stunk the bed the first couple games, but then they looked very good against Vancouver, and they started to look like that MLS Cup winning team they were last year. Jordan Morris is on fire right now, and I think that team does have a lot of talent, but like part of me just really wants to say, LAFC is going to get their revenge on the Seattle Sounders after last season. And yes, they don't have Carlos Vela, but Vela's absence hasn't been the problem for LAFC, which is why I still think they could win this. And I am going to pick them here, which does pain me to stay. And I probably just jinxed it because whenever I vote against the Sounders, that means they win.
Yeah, LAFC, BWP is back. That's what I'm really excited about. You know, he had a rough year last year, but that goal tonight was like, he's back. And it's so fun to watch because he's one of my favorite players of all time. And I was wondering if he's going to fit in the system. Yeah, he fits just fine. Rossi had that one game, of course, where he had 4 goals against LA Galaxy. Galaxy kind of quit on that one though. LAFC is really good, but like you said, they're a mess right now defensively, and I agree with you that it's more of the system thing. But I already brought up this game, but right before the break, they gave up 3 goals against Philadelphia. They gave up 3 goals against Houston. They gave up 2 goals against the LA Galaxy. They gave up 2 goals tonight against Portland. They're a mess. And with Seattle, they got shut out against San Jose. They only put in 1 against Chicago. They put in 3 against Vancouver. I think Seattle, they have the weapons. It just hasn't clicked early on like we expected this season. They still got Rui Diaz. They still got Ladero. They still got Jordan Morris. And I'm going with Seattle on this one. And I think LAFC is
totally fair.
I think LAFC is still the real deal without Vela. I'm rooting for BWP, but serious questions with the defense right now, and I think Seattle's going to be able to break through. So I'm going with the Sounders. Toronto FC, New York City. These 2 teams have already played this season, second game of the year. Toronto FC won that one 1-0. New York City just barely making it into this round of 16. They benefited from a late LA Galaxy goal. Yeah, they benefited from a late LA Galaxy penalty kick. And Toronto looked pretty good. They had that meltdown against DC. I don't even know what you call that. You're up a man and up 2 goals, and you end up drawing DC. I think Toronto right now is the better team. And I'll go back and I'll reiterate. I think New York City FC is going to be a playoff team this year once the season continues. I think they're good enough on paper, although Maxi Morales is a pretty big loss. He's the one that's out, right? Yeah, so Maxi Morales, pretty big loss. But I still think they're a playoff team. I just don't think they've played long enough under this new head coach to fully gel. I think New York City FC, I still think they're the real deal. They're just not the real deal yet. So I'm going with Toronto.
Yeah, I have to 100% go with Toronto. That combination between Alejandro Pozuelo and Ayo Akinola, I love it. And I don't want to knock down on Akinola's talent, but I will say you put any striker up with Pozuelo and they're going to get plenty of goals.
Yeah.
And I just think Pozuelo might end up being the player of the tournament. I just love the way he's playing, the way he facilitates the game. I'm 100% going to go with Toronto. We saw these teams play each other in the playoffs last year, and Toronto did very nicely slide through in that 1-0 victory thanks to Matarrita. But yeah, I think Toronto are one of the favorites here to kind of make that late push and kind of go really far in this.
Yeah. And the last one, we've got Portland Timbers, FC Cincinnati. That first Cincinnati game against Columbus was pretty bad. After that game, they beat Atlanta. They beat Red Bull New York, 6 points. Say what you will, they deserve to be in this round of 16. They're not beating Portland, though. They're not beating Portland. Portland, I made the mistake of questioning you guys. You guys are real. Cincinnati, it's a great story. I'm rolling with Portland, though.
Why do I want to say Cincinnati right now? Like, I'm really heavily considering Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. But that's just because I love Cinderella teams. But, I got to go with Portland here. I will probably secretly be rooting for Cincinnati.
Nothing wrong with that.
But this Portland team is looking great. A lot of the goals they've scored, they've not just been goals, they've been golazos. I'm going Portland here. I would have loved to see LAFC Cincinnati and then Portland Seattle, but it is what it is. Yep. And yeah.
Okay.
That's that.
I think most people are probably going to pick Portland over FC Cincinnati, but most people didn't have FC Cincinnati making it this far either. So anything could happen. They could bunker down like they have been and steal a late goal. So it could happen, but I'm not picking it. So I just I refreshed the page. Now we've got it all lined up, and we'll put the graphic on the screen. But so let's just go through the matchups real quickly because it's not really worth it to analyze, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals when we don't know exactly what the matchups are going to be. But let's just make our picks for fun. So I had New England Revolution and SKC. I got SKC in that one. I'm on the SKC bandwagon now, full time. And then I had Portland and Toronto. I gotta make it up to Portland fans. I mean, I picked them fourth. I picked them to finish fourth. So they're real. I like them a lot. So Portland, Orlando versus Seattle. I'm going with Orlando. They're my team. They're my team. Like I've been so impressed with them, and I'm just so happy for the fan base. And I think it keeps going. I think they make it to the semifinals. RSL and Columbus. I'm going Columbus. Columbus is really good. They're really good. So now we've got SKC and Portland.
You do not want that one to go to PKs.
No. Oh my God. Double. Yeah. Let's cue up the double post. I'll go SKC. I think they would have been 3-0 in their group if Tim Melia didn't get that red card. 3-0 in the toughest group, in my opinion. So SKC onto the finals, and then Columbus, Orlando. Give me Orlando. Give me Orlando. I'm riding the Orlando. I'm riding with Orlando. They're my team. But they're not beating Sporting Kansas City. So SKC over Orlando in the final. That's my pick.
I like it. I like the hot takes there. I think mine might be a tad safer. But then again, you never really know with this tournament what's going to happen. So I have Philly versus Sporting Kansas City, taking Sporting Kansas City. Then Toronto versus Portland. I really want to go with Toronto here, just because I love Pozuelo so much, and I love the way that their offense has been running. They're a little sus on defense, but that might clear up. Then I got Orlando versus LAFC. I'm going to go with LAFC here. Then San Jose, Columbus, for sure Columbus. Then my semifinals, I have Sporting Kansas City versus Toronto. I think this is where Toronto goes into the coffin and Sporting Kansas City advances. And LAFC, Columbus, I got to go with Columbus here. I just think altogether are really good. And if Columbus hasn't conceded a goal yet by this point in the tournament, I do think LAFC will definitely score on them. But I do pick Columbus because I do think they're going to just really nail those chances, those like very few moments that they're gonna get, they're gonna just execute, you know.
Mhm.
And
They're
that's
gonna
why I
get-
have them beating Sporting City.
Oh, so you got Columbus over SKC. So we both got SKC in the final. I got them winning. You have them losing to Columbus. So we are both very high on SKC. There it is, our picks for the MLS is back knockout rounds. Now, your turn. Who do you got? Who is winning it all? Let us know. And remember, if you're a fan of MLS or just curious to find out more about the league, please subscribe for more MLS content. And also, one more time, follow This Week in MLS on Instagram. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.